the first to know. Nsem-Pii TV.
Abusuafo Yemamo Akwaba assign a mom good morning at the bar in Nsem-Pii TV. So after the election Nsem a ebechiri enye asem kotwana yebeka ya ye to abano ewie na dichen anopa 9 a.m. and Dr. Mahmoud Baumia be press conference at the free in the fee and or the two just pair his own collation John Dramani Mahama ninti wa friend a congratulate no eno nam so ema ebu NPP amanyoko ni full soldiers no abem ema bebra na omo polling stations ahodo a ye kan especially parliamentary no one enyina efiri ho ene ye be advantage edema NPP amanyoko no ene polling station centers no aka no omo kwa EC officials no a ewo ho no one threaten one say mu refi say 7 December yen ene ye beba betena akonwa so enti mun declare yen PC a owa winner ene majority of the seats na MPP aman NDC amanyoko no ewini no Greater Accra ni nyina enomne other regions ni nyina sa NDC amanyoko no ekwa na one threaten EC official no man say EC office we ye twajade atom man say EC office we ya say ni nyina se man declare ye PC no winner sa ene ye beyamo na EC officials and so MPP full soldiers bi ani ho MPP mpanifo bi ani ho na won so de ayam hyehye ye pekai a ye the video ba ko bi kire mo especially ayawa so what na Sam George etimi agiri EC official and the microphone a chana no say on declare John Dimelo winner e ma EC official and so de ahopopo etimi e declare no winner no ena afenyom hakin hu se sana NPP amanyoko sana NDC amanyoko ne ma eye dia ene ono nso ompene ena quickly otimi erezi alarm ena EC etimi eka se sana etie dia ene baabi aka na ye kan no because na nsa wama do agiri nso NDC amanyoko no pese won chinchim Franka no dom prensa na won etimi age akonwa no na Franka no dom prenso se ompene ono nkwanso ne gyinamu a okon obi anko bi ma no ne no ana mso ma afanyom akemo ka se sade aye mpene se sa na mo ye de a ene afanyom akin raise alarm no ena yisika so mo mfa ne nyina mra mepie mu tesa no police station na afi yenya recount abusuafo je ba bepie mu tesa no a first fire ye recount no MPP amanyoko no adi ni nyina so nkunim the next form so aye recount no ohwe gab na edam na NDC amanyoko NPP amanyoko ni bia ena ebie margin ne no ena NDC amanyoko ni se afi de yen hoti process no recount ni bibia akra yenya because how ye recount ne the kwan a NPP amanyoko no fa so still anya na omu enya member of parliament no ebika ho no NDC amanyoko no hu se won animu gu ase one tabri asem no e de kokopie mu court na supreme court no nso e de to omonim se senior amudi tuja no election are won at the polling station EC some nsa ankan eba na nka bone be ne wom because obi a won pin sheet ho eno ansa ye fa ne hwem ne keka ema no ebom enti mun kan mu problem ne se amosan ede hababe pie mu e court ene NDC amanyoko no se one entiase ne entiase china enya recount because one recount no seat ahodo a olusu a enye asem koto na yenko pie mu tesa no ne nhwe de NDC amanyoko no ni abrese yen hoti process no MPP amanyoko no nso afi the executives ni na akuku Justin Kodua mu nyina ko omo nso so omo ntiase ne entiase china emyen hoti process no ye be koso a ye recounting no na NPP amanyoko no akoso asan nyomo parliamentary seat no back na enya asem koto a ohwe ba bi ekeka ko na NDC amanyoko no anhwa majority ne kro mo pe no omunya se impo yesan kase ye recounting ni nyina especially parliamentary seat ni nyina for presidential no kra ebia na John Dramani Mahama enya de wonya because de Joseph Yami mo be ye na Ashanti region no na enye asem koto na de yenko tie de wa na argument ne tie chinchin a NDC amanyoko ne se yen hotel recounting yenko tie.
Well, the collation of results for the Nsem-Pii constituency, which resumed at 6 a.m. today, started on a calm note but quickly descended into chaos, while a sudden announcement by the Deputy Director of Elections NIT, Dr. Rashid Tanko, halted the proceedings, triggering a standoff.
Action. So on what basis is he going to say that they say he should continue and the others will stop? Is it not the same thing? We are doing the same thing. It's an emergency IPAC meeting. It must stop. This process must halt. Let's go for the IPAC meeting. Whatever comes out of it, we will come and continue.
You mean for all the other constituencies or just
in every process they are doing, and they must halt it?
However, the NPP party executives, led by the General Secretary of the party, Justin Frimpong Kodia, challenged this claim and insisted that there's no such meeting.
Franco is here. Franco is here. He is going to IPAC. There is a means whereby they communicate to us when there's going to be IPAC. I'm daring him to prove to us, to give us evidence that IPAC has been called. Ask him. Because normally when there's an IPAC meeting, they once sent us a message by text followed by a formal letter. Let him prove a text showing there's an IPAC meeting. Well, I don't believe it. Give us a proof that there's an IPAC meeting.
The director here confirmed that instruction has been given to him that
no one has called him.
Stop the process.
That have you been called? Have you been called? Ask the East officer. Has he been called? No. So how can you come and lie here?
I'm telling you the fact. The fact is, I'm telling you the fact that there's an emergency IPAC meeting to be held this morning.
Meeting, they communicate to us.
Then you will find out from this.
MPP, no one has communicated to me.
So the tension escalated when the NDC's Director of Legal Affairs, Eduji Tamaklo, arrived at the scene to disclose that the party had applied for an injunction, arguing that the process could not proceed under such circumstances.
To restrain the Electoral Commission from doing what they are doing. That process has been served on the EC, and this is it.
But have they confirmed receipt of it?
Oh, without doubt. GJ 0275 2025. It was filed at 9:30 early this morning. Anope Philibert Fume versus Frank Anodompre, Electoral Commission of Ghana. So this is it. Who? No, it's not to be. But he's an inferior officer. If I serve them, the court will not even take me serious. I have served the head. No, I have served the head office, and he has to stop. We have brought it to his notice.
But does that affect the three that were declared yesterday?
Which one? No, this one is specific. This is specific.
Specific for the Nsawam.
And this is where we are now. We are within Nsawam now, and this is the process. It doesn't matter. It's a court process. I'm sure somebody like Fenyo Makin will not disagree. You know what he did with the Speaker of Parliament, with injunctions and all of those things. And that is exactly what we have done. Yes. We have served the Electoral Commission.
Moments later, chaos erupted as the NDC also refused to allow the process to continue, while party members and the EC officials were seen in heated arguments, forcing an abrupt suspension of the process. MPP candidates for Nsem-Pii constituency, Frank Anodompre, expressed his frustration.
It's the first time I'm going through such an experience. Tomorrow will be a week since we had elections, and still the results have not been called. It's not good enough. And if you look at happenings between the parties and the EC, one can say that it's a self-inflicted wound, because the CI gives the EC the mandate to give copies of results to the parties, and then the EC has the original copy. Yeah. So if the EC produces the pink sheet, it is reasonably expected that the parties will have copies, which was prior given to the parties. But so if one party says that I don't have a copy, it will not nullify the mandate given to the EC to call the results. Unfortunately, the NDC, that has been their modus operandi.
Meanwhile, the majority leader and the MP for the Efutu constituency, Alexander Afenyo-Markin, weighed in and criticized the NDC for what he described as a disruptive approach from the opposition.
That our colleagues on the other side were so uncomfortable with the process. Some artificial delays, some pretenses, and something that was very striking. In the evening, when some of their leaders came here and they were telling us that, their foot soldiers were amassing outside and that we should delay the Nsawam-Pii, I said, why? So if they win, it means that we've won all the four and that their foot soldiers will not be happy with them. I said, why? You know, so all of you know that Honorable Anodomprey has won and that you are only trying to frustrate him. That is not democracy. And when you talk, they want to threaten you, posting stuff on social media, Western Dogbe, attacking me here and there. But me, I'm not perturbed. We are not here to fight. MPP, we don't believe in all that chaos and all. They have won the presidency. That is fine. You've won majority seats. That's fine. But the situation where you want to use some, what I will call some Takashi and Patapa to snatch seats that have been won by other constituencies of that MPP has won, that is unacceptable.
The uncertainty surrounding the Nsem-Pii constituency reflects the heightened tensions. While party agents and election officials await the next steps, the eyes of the nation remain on the constituency, hoping for a resolution that upholds the integrity of the electoral process. Reporting
Omunye medical simple. Obi. Issue an appointment letters. I'm telling you, say enya no kre, and me say enya no kre. He who alleges must prove. Yes. They should bring proof of any such individual on interview or apply. The institution did not receive financial clearance for that recruitment within the budget year and walk ahead on their own authority to go and recruit. It hasn't happened. When him say omu recruit omu into the police service, no. In fact, they were at the Tesano training school before election. They were only released 2 days before election. So omu nyadeng omu nkotuaba no omu mbra back. Police service at the list but to all the regional capitals baby are no more recruit. It was a public document. A clearance and also free finance ministry by and also so to abontain as a public document. Ministry be our work commitment payment. Yes, as Ministry of Information. When him say you procure 40 state of the art LED vans for information services department. Yes.
And the major item are near what in our capex for this year. We were expecting delivery in September. Vans in November. They have to put in the necessary efforts to make sure say if you go and say me my finance ministry into civil servants now who are beneficiaries of this capital expenditure that has been featured in the 2024 budget since November 2023 no also because you are to Obama, so the remaining mandate of the current administration must expire. So that oyebe accumulate sika to honum ama wo de abeye adwuma. Does it make sense?
But the argument has been said there is always precedence, and they refer to a letter written by Honorable Osafo to the then outgoing chief of staff. Say, and with your permission, no make kind or say, I write to confirm our agreement reached on the above subject matter per our telephone conversation on December 17, 2016, which took place within the hours of 17:00 GMT as follows. 1. The current rush to recruit personnel at various MDAs appears improper and must be discontinued. 2. It is agreed that positions such as the government statistician and senior staff personnel of IOCO are highly critical and must only be carried out with the explicit consent of the transition team of the president-elect. 3. It is mutually agreed that the recruitment of the government statistician and senior staff of IOCO and other MDA shall therefore be suspended by the government, considering the short duration of the transition period. We trust that any emergencies that may arise regarding the need for recruitment shall be considered on a case-by-case basis and with the explicit consent of the transition team of the president-elect. This letter was written on December 17th, 2016 to Julius Deborah. Why are you departing from that principle?
Obi, Wakasa.
Yes.
It is based on this letter na make say. The then transition team members from Yeye party.
Yes.
wrote this letter. It is true, dated 17 December to the then Chief of Staff, telling them that this is what we think should be done. So they should depart from what they are doing. But they stated categorically and by action that the transition team's work does not place an embargo on the executive mandate of the executive president duly elected and sworn in as president of the republic. And after this letter dated 17 December, they went ahead to make all the appointments I mentioned to you on all these institutions. They came after this letter. They went ahead to sign mining agreements, contracts with Exxon Quebec after this letter. So clearly, they showed us, say, until their mandate, and I have also referred to the contracts execution by Honorable Mama Yarga and the interview he granted. Say his executive of mandate Ghana for their man expires on 6th January 2017. President Akufo-Addo na bind will expire on 6th January 2025 at midnight, and we are not asking for an hour beyond. But if they stick by the convention and they have shown us the law, and these issues, they even sent it to court. I don't know if you remember. If they have shown us the law, they've shown us the way, I don't know why all of a sudden they will depart from it. Because any area manaka don't pay cry, you see and chain. Na yanso yamran yemestate there afresh. So they should keep the same energy. Na nyame ya adomwa. Sa aka na otwa hen yedru 7 January. January na beba position obi amfane de nkoni fie. Ye beba omuchi dom prekope. Ni ye papa no, ye beka se mu apiafo. Ni enye no, we will be a responsive and responsible opposition. We will respond accordingly.
You are saying, sir, recruitment are in the various MDAs. They are according to law, what happened?
May say if it is legitimate, nothing stops the government, because just as they showed us in 2016, the Transitions Act does not put embargo on the executive authority of the president. Government.
That's true.
And there has not been any other convention. Don't expect all of a sudden, because the tables have turned, I think the smooth thing we have done is to have a peaceful election and also put together a very formidable team from both sides. Say how best we can do the handover.
He makes the point about some payments via agencies need be air to a third party contractor society, ECG for example, over $295 million to a company. That amount or say will impact on the fiscals of the nation. And clearly the incoming administration should be aware who your payment to be say.
Let me remind you, every budget cycle I want the projections of where they are going to mobilize revenue from. Whether it's from taxation, whether it's for grants, from grants, or whether it's financing.
Yes, me too.
And it is based on all those projections and anticipations in the budget year. And more prepare what we call the budgets. Yes. Omo the call parliament near passing appropriation within the budget period. They are able to spend as much as what they have raised or calculated for. But I want to say,
no.
I believe so from 7 January, where they will do I believe said there was supposed to be some appropriation ahead of the budget just to help to pay the salaries for the first 3 months. And then they will go ahead and do substantive budget. Whatever budget they will prepare will take into consideration the revenue raise within that period, what they are able to spend. And look around advice on what taxes will remain, what they will cut, what they will introduce. And let me remind you that just as we came in whilst they were under an IMF program, we are also living whilst we are under an IMF program. So I've been hinted, said they want to do some reviews of the program. That is fine. I don't have any problem with that. And we will support them within this transition period by the grace of God for us to have a very smooth process. Nothing makes me prouder in times like this than being called a Ghanaian. Because yet here once say and ya fe no bi kwa for a two near giant second aneki ye metua bangu yempesa. And I'll say that whilst we are in government and say that whilst we are in opposition. Say this soja ban na even if it's the alternative that is in government, I'm satisfied with that. But they should not think We've been here before. They should not think, say, because the public and the good people of this country decided to roll the dice and they are beneficiaries of that dice, all of a sudden, even before what is allowed under the Constitution allows, that will not be allowed.
Will not happen.
They will not oust the authority of the finance minister. They will not oust the authority of the president. President Akufo-Addo was not given for 3 years and 11 months or 3 years and 10 months. He has a second term of a 4-year mandate. And by the grace of God, he is going to lead through it all until the midnight of 6th January 2025.
I think your point is very well made.
Of course, Mejidi say if it's one-sided, another side of the narrative is not out there for the good people of Ghana to hear. It is not fair. And no pen edime pia bonte. Ya no free on so on samba ya men samba.